Hi there, my name is Emily Good and I love books. Today what I'm doing is going over, I'm also a mom.
Don't
but
get my hot tea.
she's not going to. She's fine. Okay, yeah, but what I'm doing today is going over my Stephen King book collection. Some of these are used. I do really enjoy buying used books. And some of them are brand new. Bought them at Books A Million. I have quite the collection. I'm pretty proud of the Stephen King books that I've had. I'm excited to see how many of these I've actually read, because I've never actually numbered them to know which ones I've read, which ones I haven't. But let's get into it. First off, I'm going to go over the used books that I have, and then I'll show you the new ones. I'm not sure if I already said that. Okay, so let's get started. So here is the first one. This I bought used, and Gerald's Game. I have not read this one. Here's a classic picture of Mr. King on the back. Sorry for the sun. But I love the cover. It is, I don't know much about this, but I definitely think that I want to read this soon because reading the insert, they're playing a game, she and her husband, and things turn a little bit too rowdy for her, and she ends up making a deadly choice, accidentally, but it is deadly, and as she's handcuffed to the bed. So, and now she's about to stay in a lake house, and she doesn't have any help. She's there by herself because she's apparently killed her husband, and that is not a spoiler, believe it or not. It is on the insert of this book. So yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. Here's another one I bought used. Love a good floppy book, and 11/22/63. I honestly, I've seen a lot about this. So obviously I've looked up which Stephen King books must be read, and this is always one that's on it. It is quite a hefty thing, but I honestly don't even know. On the back it says, Dallas 11/22/63. 3 shots ring out. President John F. Kennedy is dead. I think that I would enjoy this one. I'm not sure when I'll get to it because it is pretty big. It's kind of intimidating to me. 11/22/63, but I don't know. I will get to it eventually. But I love this cover. I always love a good floppy book. I love that it's paperback. I love everything about it. Here's my final used Stephen King that I have. Actually, what's in here? No, nothing. Okay. The Dark Tower, The Gunslinger. I have not read this either. It's a nice small little thing. This was initially $10.95. I don't know if you can see that. It's very old. I forget honestly where we bought this at. Definitely at a used store, and I'm not sure where. But it's pretty cool. I think that this might be a series, is it? Yeah, with color illustrations. So there's a little page of illustrations. That's pretty cool. I probably shouldn't have shown. Oh no. Oh no, there's a page that's torn. Okay. So yeah, The Gunslinger, which I, again, have not read. Okay, now I'm going to go through all the books that I bought new. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't, so I'll just give you a little info on those. The Mist. This is the smallest Stephen King book that I have. I will tell you that I started reading it last year. I think I was pregnant at the time, and my daughter's 1 now. So, I started reading it. Weather was really bad. It was really crappy out. It was rainy, and The Mist, I got 20 pages in, and it was just creeping me out too much because my outer environment was too synonymous with what was going on with the book, and I I wasn't ready for it. In the wake of a destructive Maine summer thunderstorm, an impenetrable mist descends over the direction of a local military facility and infiltrates the small town of Brigton, Maine. You've got David Drayton and his son Billy are swept into a living nightmare as unnatural and violent forces concealed by the mist begin to emerge, wreaking havoc in their wake. So that is The Mist. It is very small. Maybe if you might want to be interested in Stephen King but haven't read any Stephen King yet, maybe a book that has less than 200 pages might be a good start for you. I will definitely read this because, again, it's so short. It might be a good, like, one sitting type of deal, but I have not finished this yet. So, okay, Salem's Lot. I love this version. Again, I bought it new. I think I bought it at Books A Million. Oh, crap. Okay, so yeah, so I love this cover. I love the floppiness of it. I really love the house on the front. I did read this. I read this and I enjoyed it a lot. It is a vampire Stephen King, so I enjoyed that a lot. It is in Jerusalem's Lot. Okay, so I'll read you. I'll start reading you the first sentence of each book so that you can kind of get a little idea of what we're working with here. I do have my 1-year-old here. She's messing with everything, so that's what's going on off camera. Okay, so Ben Mears has returned to Jerusalem's Lot in hopes that exploring the history of the Marston House, an old mansion along the subject of rumor and speculation, will help him cast out his personal devils and provide inspiration for his new book. But when 2 young boys venture into the woods and only one returns alive, Mears begins to realize that something sinister is at work. In fact, his hometown is under siege from the forces of darkness. I'm just going to finish reading the excerpt now. And only he, with a small group of allies, can hope to contain the evil that is growing within the borders of this small New England town. Vampire books are so terrifying to me always because vampires are just so powerful and like mere humans trying to fight against them always has me on the edge of my seat. I enjoy reading about vampires a lot. And I know that I really enjoyed this book. So I need to reread it soon, I think. Okay, let's get to, Stephen King's The Green Mile. So these were initially actually a bunch of small like short stories that has now been put into a book. I really enjoyed this. I do have a video. I will put it in the description.
Hey, why you find the book on my chair?
Oh, sorry.
Not do that again.
Excuse me? Here, I'll read you the back of it. Welcome to Cold Mountain Penitentiary, home to the depression-worn men of E Block. Convicted killers all, each awaits his turn to walk the Green Mile, the lime-colored linoleum corridor leading to a final meeting with Old Sparky, Cold Mountain's electric chair. Prison guard Paul Edgecombe has seen his share of oddities over the years, working the mile, but he's never seen anything like John Coffey. A man with the body of a giant and the mind of a child, condemned for a crime terrifying in its violence and shocking in its depravity. And in this place of ultimate retribution, Edgecombe is about to discover the terrible, wondrous truth about John Coffey, a truth that will challenge his most cherished beliefs. I enjoyed this book a lot. This might be one of my favorite Stephen King books, just because I loved John Coffey so much, and I really loved the evils that were at play in this book. It wasn't your typical, it wasn't like a scary book. It was just, it was a good story to me. I really connected with the characters. I felt like I knew them, and I really enjoyed this one. And again, I did make a whole video on this book that I will put down in the description. Pet Sematary. I have Pet Sematary. I think that I thought that this book was like okay. I don't think it was my favorite. I don't think I was like obsessed with the characters or the like setting of it at all, but I did read it here. I'll read it to read the back to you. When Dr. Lewis Creed takes a new job and moves his family to the idyllic and rural town of Ludlow, Maine, this new beginning seems too good to be true. Yet, despite Ludlow's tranquility, there is an undercurrent of danger that exists here. I won't read the whole thing, but like there's a nice creepy, of course there's a creepy element to it, but it is kind of like an interesting concept, an interesting plot, Pet Cemetery, where sometimes dead is better. So what's happening? I'm not going to tell you, but I think that I don't know if it was my favorite Stephen King book, but I did really enjoy it a lot, and I would definitely reread it. And again, that was years ago that I read that book. Here's I think this is my most recent Stephen King read. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I read this one too. Needful Things. Love the concept of the book. You've got you're in Castle Rock, Maine, and you've got this new shop opening and this new guy who came into town to open up the shop. And it's your typical small town, so okay, so yeah, so you've got Leland Gaunt. He's this new mysterious guy. There's something in his shop for everyone. Even if you don't know what you're looking for when you go in there, you will find your greatest heart's desire in there, but it comes at a cost, and it's not just money. I did think that the book went on a little too long for my taste. Like there were just so many different things, whereas I could have dealt with there being like a few less character situations. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more, but who am I to tell Stephen King how to write his book? I haven't written a full book, so I'm definitely not here to tell Stephen King how to write his stuff. That was just my personal preference. I did enjoy it though. I loved the plot. I loved the initial characters that were introduced. I thought it was really fascinating, but it wasn't my favorite. But I did enjoy it, and I would read it again. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't like to say mean things about books just because I just don't. But I did enjoy it. Okay, so Everything's Eventual. These are some short stories, and I think which one I haven't read all of them, but there was one that really creeped me out. Oh, The Man in the Black Suit. Yeah, this is a short story collection. I have read some of them. I have not read all of them. But yeah, this is my short story collection that I have. I know that he's written several others. I just don't have them. Okay, so here's one that I have not read, The Stand. Probably one of his most popular. Am I right in saying that? I don't know. I feel like I am, but I could be wrong. Yeah, but I have not read it yet. Another humdinger here. It intimidates me, but I have heard that it is a work of it's a literary masterpiece. I know that it took him a very, very long time to write this. And yeah, I have not read it yet, but this is another floppy, great big book. So yeah, haven't read it. What is it about? Let me read it to you. Ooh, a patient escapes from a biological testing facility unknowingly carrying a deadly weapon.
I want to read it.
Okay, a mutated strain of superflu that will wipe out 99% of the world's population within a few weeks. Those who remain are scared, bewildered, and in need of a leader to emerge. Mother Abigail, the benevolent 108-year-old woman who urges them to build a peaceful community in Boulder, Colorado, and Randall Flagg, the nefarious dark man who delights in chaos and violence. As the dark man and the peaceful woman gather power, the survivors will have to choose between them and ultimately decide the fate of all humanity. That sounds awesome. I have not ever known what that was about, because sometimes I just go to the bookstore and I'm like, hey, I want to buy a Stephen King book. So I did not know what that was about, but that sounds awesome. That sounds really good. I would very much like to read this. Okay. So here's another one that I have not read. This is my second to last one, but this is one I have not read. The Shining, another popular one. I feel like I haven't read this, and I feel like I would really enjoy it a lot. Another floppy one. I love it. Okay, so Jack Torrance's new job at the Overlook Hotel is the perfect chance for a fresh start. As the off-season caretaker at the atmospheric old hotel, he'll have plenty of time to spend reconnecting with his family and working on his writing. But as the harsh winter weather sets in, the idyllic location feels ever more remote and more sinister. And the only one to notice the strange and terrible forces gathering around the Overlook is Danny Torrance, a uniquely gifted 5-year-old. Okay. Guaranteed to frighten you into fits with a climax that is literally explosive, is what Cosmopolitan said about it. So, again, this is another one. I don't know why I haven't read it. I just haven't, but I would like to. Oh, I did not know that Dr. Sleep was the sequel to this. I did not know that. But that's what the cover says. Okay, here's my final one. My final Stephen King book, except for On Writing. I do have On Writing. I didn't bring it because it's not with my Stephen King books. It's with my nonfiction books. So I do have On Writing as well. Okay, so the final book is Misery. I did read this. You've got best-selling novelist Paul Sheldon. It's been years. And he has his biggest fan. Her name is Annie Wilkes, one of my favorite characters I've ever read about in any of Stephen King's books. She's upset. Annie gets upset because she finds out that Paul is going to kill off her favorite character in the books that he writes. And that character's name is Misery, who is the heroine of his beloved series. So Annie is not only Paul's fan, but she ends up being his nurse because she finds him after I forget if it was a car wreck or something. Yeah, an automobile accident. So she's his nurse, she's his biggest fan, and she's also his captor. She is not going to let him leave, and she ends up doing some pretty wild things to him. It was an enjoyable book. Again, I have not read this book in years. I would absolutely love to do that. I might have a Stephen King reading month maybe or something like that, just so I can catch back up with all of these. But yeah, that is Misery. Super enjoyable. I think that this might have been my first Stephen King book that I ever read, maybe, possibly. So that's my Stephen King collection. I have, let me count everything. Okay, so I have 12 Stephen King books. I have not read 7 of them. So I've read 5. Haven't read 7, which could be worse. It could be worse. I just need to read some more Stephen King. Which one do you think I should read next? I'm very proud of my Stephen King collection. I do love me some horror. I love some scary books. I have to be in the mood for it, and I haven't been lately. But that may change. Who knows? Which one do you think I should read next? If you are a Stephen King reader, give me your suggestions. Tell me if I don't have a Stephen King book that I absolutely should have and read. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're taking care. I will maybe talk to you next time. Bye.